together. Come on, Janice. Testing.
I'm ready.
Oh, shoot.
Solomon, I think I ditched the meeting.
Well, that, and it said joint audio, and that's all it showed me. I couldn't do anything else. That's what I was asking you
Solomon,
about.
I think I got off the meeting by accident.
Okay.
I think I left. You still see me? Oh, period. You ready? All right, I love it. You stay ready. So we should all unmute. Just only we don't need to unmute at all. They're cute.
I don't remember. Oh no. Open browser and connect.
You already set up, Meredith.
I wanted to get to board docs,
Oh,
and I have all the info saved.
Okay.
Just seeing what they wanted on this guest. Considering it, yeah.
The time is 6:33. I'd like to call this regular Board of Education meeting to order. The first order of business on our agenda this evening is the roll call of those Board of Education members present. Trustee Schindler, do you mind performing the roll call?
I do not mind. President Hawkins. Trustee Fields.
Here.
I can see that Trustee Ainsley is not here. Vice President Lee.
Here.
Trustee Schindler, I am here. Trustee Townsend
Here.
and Trustee Goodrich, I know is not here. President Hawkins.
Here. We have 5 Board of Education members present currently and 2 who are not. Thank you, Trustee Schindler. The next order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I would like to invite the board and our community to join us in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance Next, that takes us to a request for a closed session this evening to consider the content of an application for employment. At this time, is there a motion to go into closed session?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education go into closed session pursuant to Section 8F of the Open Meeting Act to review the consider the content of an applicant for employment.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Supported by Trustee Fields. This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Fields.
Aye.
Trustee Ainsley. Aye. Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vice President Lee.
Aye.
President Hawkins.
Aye. Motion passes. At this time, we will move into closed session. The time is 6:35. We will move to another location and the community can stay here until we reconvene into open session. The time is 6:54. We are back in open session. The next item on our agenda this evening is a conversation, discussion, and facilitation regarding the work that the board has been engaging in as it relates to strategic planning for the district. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross, who will introduce our facilitator for this evening's discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. As the board recalls, you have been enlisting this work, a continuous work, not just strategic planning, but as Madam President said, long-range planning with Mary Kerwin, our facilitator, a senior consultant from the Michigan Association of School Boards. We appreciate the work that you've been doing with our community and with the board, and we just look forward to this continuous relationship as we continue to grow in this work. So thank you, Mary, for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. You should have a color chart which identifies the school improvement framework. And if you look to the teal section, strand 2, under leadership for learning, you'll see under K, how do we ensure that all stakeholders understand and commit to attaining our school's vision? Tonight, we're ready to do that vision work. Do brainstorm, and the outcomes of tonight will include your draft vision statement. So in the olden days, and some of us in this room remember olden days, creating a vision statement and a mission statement was something that we would do rarely. But it is not the design of the school improvement classes to do them rarely. The reason we did them rarely is that they came at an expense because they were often engraved on a plaque on the wall, or they were in hard copies of things that were not to be touched. Now it's not like that. Now we have websites. You can tweak a vision statement over and over and over. You can, through the school improvement district team, which you have, they will look at the mission statement every single year. So the idea of the continuous improvement is that these are revisited to see how they fit. Every time a Board of Education changes in membership, it's time to review your vision statement, because it's a shared vision that is actually done through the work of the board itself and in both the community and the students around. Do you have any questions about that? In the Cognio report, which came out, one thing that was recommended among, did you all read the real report? Mm-hmm. And so it's extraordinary. They should share that too. So the opportunity for the remainder of this year would be, in fact, to share the good news. There's a lot of good news. This is a growing district. It's so it's an opportunity for leaders to share with the community the mission, the vision, the Cognio report, and the direction for the future. That's really very, very exciting. A mission statement, and here is the one that came as a result of 3 different stakeholder groups reflecting the entire IPSI community. They shared their beliefs, their values, the way they saw the future, and then drafted this language. And it reads, YCS is dedicated to developing mindful, engaged, and connected students with knowledge, skills, and work ethic to prepare them to pursue their career aspirations and contribute to a community that celebrates diversity, equity, and justice. And that really was something that came through over and over each one of the stakeholder groups. Something that's unique to me, and I've been doing mission vision work for a long, long time, was how many times there were references to YCS, the community schools, as a family. So I want to just do a little brainstorming, just get this concept of a family. What are some strengths and things? What are some of those enhancing words that you associate with it? And we'll just
Loyalty.
loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Foundation, protection,
Foundation,
protection.
protection, system of support,
A system of support.
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Love.
Love. There it is.
Bond.
A bond.
It's enduring.
It is enduring, isn't it? Generation after generation, sitting with our ancestors. That's especially this month, we're hearing a lot about ancestors.
Faithfulness.
Faithfulness, the loyalty, the faithfulness, the fidelity. Mhm.
Unconditional. Unconditional.
Unconditional, and then that goes with to being love, unconditional love. When you are embraced, you have that support, that care.
Shared identity.
A shared identity. So as you know, that stakeholder group reflected everyone. You had elected officials, you had every age, you had folks who had children, grandchildren in the schools, you had retirees, you had those who had been on staff before, you had some principals, you had students, all kinds. When the students were here, I asked them, they came in summer, they came in masks. And I said, do you see the mask as a burden? I asked them, flat out, see that? And they said to me, no, we do not. We do not see it as a burden because we are a family and we're protecting our family. And that's really where it hit me, how important this community identifies and cares for each other. So I had us brainstorm and think about family as you think of vision. It's the qualities that are identifiable across all stakeholder groups. Those qualities that you mentioned, including unconditional love, the support, all of these, that's how stakeholders feel about the school and your students feel about each other in their learning environment. It's singular. You know, sometimes it's tempting. Well, we have 500 school districts in Michigan. Why don't we just find another state? That is not authentic, and that's not how we do it. It's and so when I would write out where we were on strategic planning, looking forward to our visioning session, I always want to hear some of the ideas. But this is what the stakeholders say we are doing. This is what we are doing. A vision is where we want to go. We're not there yet. And the vision, a good vision, ignites the fire. You read the vision and go, yes, I can get behind it. Yes. So we have, you know, some very famous visions out there already. You know, because I'm from California originally. Do you all know this story? You may know this. But I'm from California originally, and we taught year round until Prop 8, Prop 13, which became Prop 8. And then all the summers were off. We needed jobs. So we would decided that we're just going to go work at Disney. All right, why not? Group of young teachers, this will be fun. We'll all go together, and we'll all be best. That'll not pay. So, in order to work at Disney, one has to go through Disney first, which is a week and a pay. And by pay, I mean it's minimum wage plus. So that's the standard unless you're unionized. And unionized are those who dress in white and sweep throughout Disneyland as well. So it is not a high paying job. And at the end of the week, you know, I said, like my friends, I love to go to dance. Now I look kind of like I do now. And I did not have that kind of fancy land, right? So they put me in Tomorrowland. Instead of, you know, they said, well, we got your hair. Well, we're going to put you in Tomorrowland. But what we learned, no matter what land we were or whatever job we had, my job was the character shop, which is the largest shop in all of the Disney Empire, which is t-shirts and things for people who touch and won't go back up.
CDC. But before we understood that our commitment, you're not in the room, is to create happiness. Underlying everything, when they said it's the happiest place on earth, it wasn't about retail. It was about wherever you are in that land, your commitment, didn't matter how much you public, but our commitment to that vision of creating happiness. That everyone who came together, we call members of the cast, it's our obligation to ensure. That's a big deal. Especially again, when there's not money, that's fine. It's just that commitment. So every school district can create that vision, that level, that, oh, yes, I want to be there and I want to do that. And the vision is directed. It should burn like that excitement. If you've been to the resort, their vision is to create magic. If you ever stay there, you leave for the day, you come back, they made like little, begin to hear around in different spots, or they're just creating magic. But there's a commitment from everybody in the system. The vision today ought to have that. I like it. So we'll do some brainstorming for vision. Where do we want to go? Have you given us that? What I'm asked now is for to take some next to the conference. Where do you want to go? We're just going to put some things up and we can put some there.
I have a idea would be a strong word, but I think about how connected our students are to each other and the community and how connected the community is. And I think about how much of that the world in general would benefit from. The idea of community, and we take care of each other and we recognize and support, especially, the folks that are not historically recognized and supported. And I think that our schools do such a good job. So I think of our students coming in to the world and bringing that vision to the world. I don't know, that's very vague.
I absolutely think that when students graduate, when they leave here, that they will change the world. I fundamentally believe that. I absolutely do. And that's something unique here. I'm telling you. So as much as I it's true, but I absolutely believe every time I encounter their school, I'm still. So there must be something about the changing the world.
All right. Well, I'm all about it. It just seems very, very, very broad.
Well, it's a vision. We're
Yeah.
not there yet. But
Yeah.
it's aspirational.
Yes.
Changing the world.
I think we want to be a district with like 100% graduation rate. That's how I'm feeling.
Would those be goals that we would get incrementally?
I don't know how we're getting it, but yeah. A vision, I don't know.
That big mistake.
That's the vision I'm seeing.
So my thought process is more so that I think in order for us to get to those things, I think we have to make sure that everyone that's with the district, as well as its students and family, have a mindset of anything is attainable, like changing the whole mindset of you are the author or the narrator of your story, and having you must have the tenacity to always move forward. Like there's no limits to what you can or cannot do, even if you have barriers. You just have to think around those barriers and think outside of the box and do things. I don't know how we will word that, but I really think we have to start at making sure that we have a mindset and a culture in the district that there's no limits to what we can do.
No limits to what we can.
I would suggest that we meet every student where they are and push them along their path to success, their own, help them achieve their own vision.
You're lucky that you attended one of our sessions, particularly the ones with
Mhm.
and so there was that piece that stakeholders agreed with. There was that connection there. For them to pursue their career aspirations. So whatever that might be, that we would build that in.
Some words that I guess just come to mind for me about our students would be, I want to see words in the vision about scholars, a word like scholars, world-class education, the choice, the choice, not a choice, the choice. Critical thinkers are just other words that just are popping in my head when I think about who our students are, being able to, along the lines of, you can achieve, you can become anything you set your mind to. Just those high expectations that are threaded through everything that we do and everything that we touch in this district.
And the focus is on students, on learning. Right?
I also think though, the focus should also be on the team itself as well, because everyone here, because, you know, when Dr. Hawkins is saying the choice, that should also apply to anybody that wants to be a part of this team. And so I think any vision or branding that we do should reference like, this is the team to be on, regardless of what role you may play. But it should transcend through our mission statement, like this is the only choice in regards to your student, your family, and your team. And that, along with the expectation of joining this team, you are going to be challenged to go beyond the standard norm.
And the commitment is there. The commitment is there. So those ideas of barriers or any of those other things, whatever it takes. So we have some, we make it small. So you can get.
choice.
Lead choice,
Mhm.
lead choice for,
A place to get your education.
I see, I'm glad.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Um, Okay, I was just gonna, I see a theme of empowerment, specifically student empowerment.
And while it's not jumping off the page, I guess as I'm reading through all of these, was someone speaking? Oh, okay. It's not jumping off the page, but I guess something that I'm seeing in a lot of what's already up here is this idea of us, and I feel like, when we think broader society, kind of what's missing, it's this humanity, right? It's the humanity, and it reminds me of something that Dr. Lopez always says, and I don't know how we capture this in a vision, but and this has always stuck with me, and I steal it, and I tell him I steal it all the time, but we need to see, hear, value, and respect each other. And that seems like it's something that we should all just do naturally, but there's something to be said about when you say it and when you see the humanity. And I think that this family, this community, who we are, gets to those kind of core values of seeing the humanity, not just in each other, but preparing our students to see the humanity in the world.
that is aspirational and that is broader based. We have in place and really well under your academic process. We don't want those things. And that's foundation. For the form, talking about the seeing, hearing, all of those things is a true commitment. We know that mindfulness plays a part in this, and that can be somewhere just down quiet. Nobody does that. We're not. We're doing it. I see, I hear, and speak. So let's see if we got that. See, hear, get, value, respect, and structure. As we make a more perfect world. That's what it is. If we might have something about it.
I just want to add something else really quick.
Yes, absolutely.
I know through the Cognia report, something that really came through really strongly was stronger together.
Yes.
And I know that came up, and I don't know how you capture that in a vision either, but I think there's something to be said about the collaborative nature of the work that's happening.
And that becomes the idea of a team. It's not just one. It is a team. And the option would always be for a model. Or something like that. Those pieces are. So that's an option. We can include, I don't mean to dismiss.
No. I just wanted to like put it up there, but not to, just to not lose sight of the spirit of it.
The piece that you talked about does go to values. Some of these pieces, when you talk about the things that will save us,
Right.
Really have to do that. So I did. So Delta has mission statement, vision. And people watch the Olympics, so they always have flag higher. But they have very good commercials. But the Delta values are fun. Any of us would want. Honesty, always tell the truth. Integrity, always keep the rules. Respect, don't hurt anyone. How simple is that? Don't hurt anyone. Perseverance, never give up. Servant leadership, care for everyone. Those are their values. But when I encounter staff, when I encounter students, a lot of that is what I hear comes down. Values. And we did spend a lot of time going through values. So this is a value-rich with aspirations.
Not a theme, but a word. Can we please put the word unapologetic on here, on the screen?
And stressing the commitment.
Can we also add like identity? Yeah. Well, being that I'm from this school district, I always identify the fact of where I got my education from. And many people in this community identify, like that stays with you. That is a part of who we are. That is a part of our history. And I believe for our children, when you have identity, that's where it starts. It starts here. We are the foundation of the identity alongside their family. And so I think whatever we write, ultimately come up with, we need to state that this is who you are forever, regardless of what you do. It started here. Right. Right.
It is a big point.
I think to kind of piggyback off of that, a word I'm looking for here is community. And it did get into the mission, but it hasn't, I don't think, been in here yet. But, you know, being stronger together is not just about YCS being stronger together. It's about, you know, us really being integrated within our community and our school district and how much our community can support the schools and vice versa.
Might have some piece like that, that would be, the place where. The place where collaborative team, staff,
Scholars. I like the word scholars.
scholars, we're all. where there are no barriers.
So we coming up with the full statement today. That's what I need to understand.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
assignment, okay.
Draft vision.
Okay.
So I see some people are writing, but again, it's a draft, so you'll
Okay.
have time to rethink it. But yeah, we're gonna put some words. Okay. So that was just an.
I feel like a piece we're missing is, I'm not quite sure how to say this, but something about education professionals and the fact that like, you know, we have a dedicated group of people who are experts, who are bringing their knowledge and their expertise in teaching and learning to really propel our students to the next level. Some acknowledgement of our staff, the special like talent and passion that they bring to this.
Included in that part would be,
Can we see the words at the very top? Thank you.
Mary, what example is over here? Is that what we learned from the community, from the meetings you had? And trying to incorporate that
you
into.
just have to marry. That is a mission statement. That's what your stakeholders really are doing. The vision is where we are
The
going.
mission. Oh, so that's the mission.
That's a mission statement.
Thank you.
It has not yet come before the board. It will come before the board, the school and representatives and to the board. With the recommendation formally adopted. You, meanwhile, have a vision statement, and that's something that you formally adopt as well. Tonight is just crafting the first draft and see where the consensus on some.
So I wrote down, I tried to put it all together. Let's see. I wrote down an unapologetic commitment to the values of scholarship, community, and collaboration to create a school district that is the choice for achievement without limits that empowers students to change the world. A little bit of everything.
It is long.
Mary's like, no.
No,
No, it's okay.
I kind of ripped off of your start there, which was YCS is the place where educators and the community collaborate to propel scholars to be talented leaders and unapologetic change makers. But what I don't like about it is that it doesn't put the scholars first. They need to be in the driver's seat. Put the community first, but I think the youth need to be, we're not doing something to them, they are doing it.
that piece could be.
I think it could be tweaked.
That was pretty good. Really, really.
Can we capture both?
I scribbled a lot.
Oh,
so.
I see you. We moving around to trustee Schindler. That was what I was just ready to say.
Thank you both for giving the purpose.
Good luck with that hand.
Again, you can look at it.
YCS is the place where scholars grow into talented leaders and unapologetic change makers with supportive educators in their community. Flipped it.
Well, it'll be her, to the passion, dedication, staff, and
Okay, I wrote a book. 'Cause I need some coffee, but YCS is the place where the collaborative community ensures that all scholars who enter our doors will receive a quality education, respect, identity, and core values that will provide a foundation that has no barriers to their success. Our family will be unapologetic about our process and commitment to producing critical thinkers who will continue to build change. That's all I got for today. Right.
I like exactly what Janice says, but I think when we keep saying the place, I think we should emphasize that, make the capital. So it's like emphasizing the place. So.
we haven't talked about.
Extra.
Part is getting everything up there. My suggestion is that you go ahead and give me those copies and let's spend a little bit of time chewing on them. Would that be all right?
Mhm.
Yes. And then I. And we will.
What it looks like on paper.
So we can go ahead and. Part two, just what you after you have a vision. That comes out. So I have one. The Delta vision statement, which is the world's most trusted airline. And if they include employees, customers. really do have a balanced world.
Okay.
Good job there. Okay. So, community engagement leadership. The board returned from MASC conference. There was some questions about, well, how can we best have community conversations? How can we best do community engagement, and whose job is that? So there is the what we want community engagement. So there's a leadership position has that, and at the top it's and board members specifically were concerned about, well, what is policy and what is the process? Group superintendent and staff, they developed that. So I that I'd like to share with you, but it will ultimately come through the superintendent. But on a meaningful engagement, it is the art of influence through listening. Listening part of leaders. You're very good at that. Legislation, strategic engagement, and generating public and parental family support. That is the lead for community engagement. So I ran off that, and then I ran off the pieces that that's often shows you. Advocacy, parental engagement, listen, political engagement, public participation. So the next here is community conversations and how that goes. And so I have that model for you. And the conversations models, we actually have the board members who come, like community members, and then sit in circles listening on a particular topic. So the design I have fits many, many different things. We've used it for hard times, if ever facing cuts. And we would sit in circles and listen to the community. They're weighing in on things that we could do with that. Never leave. Those pieces. This one I really have on sharing, since Cognia said, share the piece. That shares your vision and mission in advance. Break into circles. What can we do? So, in that process, it is coordinating because you're all here in a larger room, dividing public. And you would go ahead and open it up as a board. Set out the agenda, which I've written down. So, and have each board member, we have 7 board members. They could break up in 7 groups. And in the ideal design, there would be a student. The students
We are.
and this is senior students who would in fact be the reporter. And it could be just done on flip charts instead of Carlos with staff. They would actually, and your job for the most part is what? Yes, it's a list. And then because Rocky suggested, and you all have copies of the complete copy of report. And I'm so thrilled. I mean, I'm so thrilled.
Oh, that's fine.
You will so with the Cognia team. They have hard copies,
Electronic.
but they are.
Yeah, we don't have
And
to.
they suggested that, hard, that, not hard copies, but pieces be shared with the community. So that we have, and share the news. Many times, it's perfectly all right. Many times, the public will say, like, know that, or no one ever tells me. That's fine. We hear that all the time. People have very busy lives. But ought we not to make that effort? Because, yes, we should. And if you look at your school improvement framework, they said, yes, good. So kind of a how piece, this will be the time is to convene where you get to sit. So what I'm showing, I'm giving each of you an old book. This is not a magic book, but this is an old style kind of a takeaway. So you can see a mission statement? And when I talk about the refrigerator magnet, here it is. Read this highlight because it's the vision statement, which is the premier school. So, you know, we kind of wanted to do that. That was it. And then it has, and goals. So this could be part of the project, but some of the main. And then the last page, that's also for you all. The last page says, you know, what we mentioned. And if you could add another bit. Any other thoughts on it? So this last piece goes back to superintendent office. If people are inclined to. So it's a model, it's not perfect. I've given this to progress. So I think that's what you'd like to share with your community. Once you have firmed up and adopted your vision, the full piece, or whether we have key takeaways like we originally had. So what are your thoughts on
In regards to the booklet that you just talked, that you're handing out, I think that would be good to have, just so that when we are out in the community has understanding of what the expectation is for the district on both sides, and how we are going to continue to work to strive, you know, to a certain level of excellence.
now?
Yes.
So, you know, make this every single year, but some years we make fast facts that we just decided. We'll read it over. And that goes out in the show. And again, I'm so proud of the opportunities that are available to students. So I have a copy of fast facts that I'm going to. But again, that's just but it's a huge fact in your pocket or share with the community. Because points of time that people don't realize why this is the go-to place. People are choosing this. And it's extraordinarily special. And I know that you feel that. But we want to share it. So we're going to work on this piece and back out to you. And then you guys can roll it over and then we'll.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just make one quick comment. I love the materials that you shared with us, Mary, because as I think about the next few months and what we're preparing for the close of this year and the beginning of a new school year. And, you know, our Boots on the Ground campaign was really successful last year. And this ties into the talking points, getting ahead of our story, talking about the Cognia report that was so comprehensive and captured every sector of not only the district, but also community members, different stakeholders, community partners. And so I think the timing is perfect for us to be able to pull all these pieces together and then have what you described as like a card of sorts that really gets to the core of who is YCS, why YCS, what's happening at YCS, where is YCS going? I think sometimes we don't brag enough about how well we are doing. And not that doesn't mean that we don't have work to do, but I think it's important to get ahead of and talk about and share all the good things that are happening in this district, which this entire board, leadership team, teacher staff, everybody agrees that, you know, we are just kind of in the grind, but like telling the story is sometimes often hard to pause and say, wow, we did that, huh? It's like, yeah, we did. Let's talk about it. Let's share it. So the timing is perfect. I just wanted to say that. So thank you for all these materials. And we can't wait to get back on Zoom with you to firm up this vision.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on our agenda this evening is our first public comment portion. Ms. Haynes, are there any public comment cards that have come in this evening? Before we call up members of the public for their public comment this evening, I would like to read the public comment protocol, which reads as follows. Pursuant to Board of Education Policy 067.3, the board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express their views. Please limit statements to 3 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. No person may address or question board members individually, and remarks shall be made in a respectful and professional manner. I would like to ask our parliamentarian to please set the timer for each public comment that comes in, and when she's ready, I will go ahead and call the first person up. Oh, no. Let me see if I can set.
Under clock, Shannon.
I'm gonna start my, yeah. All right, we'll have several set. All right, I'll set it. The first person that is going to speak this evening is Michael Skirston, 305 South Adams Street. Mr. Skirston, you may come to the mic and address the board.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Michael Sherston. I have a 4th grader at Wise Elementary and a 6th grader at Wyma. I would like to address the district mask policy and in particular the mask update letter sent today by Superintendent Zachary Ross. First of all, I do appreciate that you will be surveying the district community on this issue, and I sincerely hope that those results are made public after the survey is completed. I do want to address that it looks like you will be waiting until the county health department removes their advisories to make any decision. And I just want to stress that the right and responsibility to make this decision does rest with the board. I appreciate that you are looking to agencies like the CDC and the county health department for guidance, but the decision does ultimately rest with the board. I'll note that looking at the county health board today, I did not see a single medical doctor or epidemiologist on the board. Really, the health board is not seem to be in any better position than the Board of Education to make this decision. They are political appointees, not medical experts. Further, a number of districts in the county have removed their mandates today. I know Saline and Manchester, I believe, which are too far away from my children. But I do also note that a number of charter schools in the area, including East Arbor, where we know a lot of kids that go to East Arbor, they got to go to school without masks today. Addressing a couple other points of what you're kind of looking for as you reevaluate the mask mandate. One issue here is protection for our youngest preschool students under 5-year-olds who cannot be yet vaccinated, as well as immunocompromised students and staff. First of all, I want to address that serious illness due to COVID is extremely rare in children. Throughout the pandemic, about 16% of the cases in Washtenaw County have been under 18. But in that entire 2 years, that has not been a single death under the age of 18. And children have made up just about 1% of hospitalizations in the county. Yeah, 1% of hospitalizations over the last 2 years, that's a few dozen. I think it was about 35. Pediatric COVID admissions actually peaked in the county during the Omicron wave at 3 in 1 week. But as we know, Omicron is very infective. Many of these may have been incidental admissions in which someone is admitted for something other than COVID, but tests positive on the way in. Sorry, one moment. I'm also looking at, I see an increase in student attendance to a minimum of 85%, and I'm a little curious what that means. We really don't see students falling ill due to COVID. So if this is COVID related, I'm wondering, is this just people being forcibly kept out of school due to mandated quarantine and isolation practices? Because that seems like that could just kind of be done away with, and we could let kids stay in school. I also, while I'm not a doctor, I do have degrees in math and economics. I have extensive healthcare analytics experience. I actually had the pleasure of working with Trustee Fields. And I would like to offer my guidance to the board, because I'm not sure that you have anyone guiding you on the science and the data about this. And I do have kind of expertise on that. So please reach out if I can help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I apologize. Is it Shurston?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Next we have, and I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly, last name Corbin Sayer. First name, did I pronounce that incorrectly?
It's Sayer.
Sayer, okay, thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Sarah Corbin, and my daughter attends elementary school here in the district. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. I'm here tonight for 2 reasons. First and foremost, I want to express my appreciation for the work you all do. I can tell how much you care and value and support the students here in the district, and I really appreciate it. I also want to express my appreciation for the decision to continue requiring masks in school. As it has been for so many others, this pandemic has been an extraordinarily difficult time for my family. I know I'm not alone in experiencing the weight caused by uncertainty and anxiety, and the need to make the best decisions I can to support my family. I know that looks different for everyone. For me, it involves minimizing contact with others in an effort to protect members of my family and circle who are at very high risk for hospitalization and severe outcomes. Given the inherent risk involved, the decision to send our daughter to school in person has been a nerve-wracking one. In light of all the precautions we are taking at home, school, although relatively safe, is the most likely source of transmission for our family. Every day we weigh the risk of sending her against the benefits we have observed from her time in school so far. We are immensely grateful for the precautions taken by her school staff and other families, including and especially following universal masking. We are painfully aware that nothing is 100% effective, and masking can't last forever. But given the associated reduction in transmission levels, it is a critical piece for us. Without it, we would likely not be able to send her in person. This brings me to my second reason for speaking tonight. As mask mandates fall and masking becomes optional, I feel quite simply terrified and exhausted. Obviously, I do not know more than the CDC. I am not a public health or medical expert. What I am is a parent who works in health research, who has missed countless hours and celebrations with my loved ones, and has watched from a social distance as the narrative has shifted from public health and protecting the herd to prioritizing the individual's right to decide whether to wear a mask. I don't want to wear masks forever. I don't like them any more than anyone else. But right now, the hard truth is they are helping keep my loved ones healthy and alive. And as we have learned, both beautifully and painfully over the last 2 years, we are all connected. If masks become optional, the choice by another parent to let their child go to school unmasked can and likely may affect my family. As horribly dramatic as it sounds, it may be the determining factor in whether my loved ones get to see my daughter grow up. To me, it feels like the district has an opportunity here to be a leader in safety and empathy, to practice the values discussed tonight, like mindfulness and community, to demonstrate that we don't have to be required to protect the most vulnerable among us. We can choose to do it simply because it is the right thing to do. We can raise children who understand that our greatness begins and ends with the way we take care of each other. As Mary Kerwin mentioned earlier, we are a family, and family protects one another. I know the numbers are coming down quickly. I'm overjoyed to see it, but the case numbers and transmission remain as high or higher than they were in the fall when masks were required. The numbers haven't changed, just our relationship to them. In closing, I urge the board to continue universal masking in the district, at least through the end of the school year. Give us more time for the numbers to continue improving. My family and many others would be forever grateful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Corbin. Next, we have Tom Banks.
Good evening. I'm Tom Banks. I live on Mansfield. I've lived in this community for 40 years. I had 2 daughters graduate from Nipsey High School. But I'm here on another matter this evening. I'm concerned about things in our community that tend to divide us and create friction between people and make some people feel unwelcome or alienated. And what I'm speaking about tonight is this flag out here that says Black Lives Matter that's on this building. I think it's totally inappropriate. I mean, all lives matter. Don't we agree with that? And, you know, there are students here that aren't Black, and maybe that makes them feel unwelcome. Maybe that is a source of something that affects them psychologically. And not to mention that the Black Lives Matter organization that flag represents is not a good organization. They are Marxist. They admit they're Marxist. They are anti-family. And just the whole nature of it is racist. When you put one group against another, you're creating racial tension. You're saying one group is more significant than another. And I'm sure none of you agree with that. So I'm just saying that flag should not be flying out here, and I'm ashamed to see it. And I hope that you'll take it down. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Next, we have Ms. Weathers.
Somebody tell me when 1 minute is gone, 2 minutes gone, 3 minutes gone, and I'm gonna do it again at the end. I am Levada Weathers. I taught in Willow Run. I was the co-chair with one of your former board members, Maria Shaler, for consolidating Willow Run and Ypsilanti. I taught in Willow Run for 24 and a half years. Presently, I supervise students at Eastern who are trying to become teachers, okay? When we were working to consolidate the schools, I was from Willow Run, my husband was from Ypsilanti. We have been married 61 years. That is relevant because when we joined the school districts, we joined and now we are Ypsilanti Community Schools. Having said that, there are pictures of former graduates from Willow Run who were honored for a number of different reasons. There are pictures of graduates from IPSI who were honored for a number of reasons. I'd like to see all of those pictures put together in a building
And right now, the only two buildings I see that might be appropriate in are Ipsy High and this one, all across these walls. Having said that, I also want to mention wearing masks says I care about others and I do what I can to live safely with others. When you talk about children and wearing the mask or not the mask, my husband's younger sister, we buried her a few months ago. She was a grandmother. She got COVID from her grandchildren. The youngest was 9. He didn't die. The other one was, I think, 11 and then 12, but she did. So wearing masks affects more than just the children. I also want to say, children mimic adults. They do whatever they hear that is okay with us. And that's very important, whether we're teachers or parents. And speaking of parents, I have 3 daughters. I have a grandson and a great-grandchild. So I have been a parent, and I really feel like I'm still a parent. Nobody's telling me about my minutes.
26.
Black Lives Matter was born out of a need to recognize and acknowledge that, yes, all lives matter. But it became necessary, it is necessary to remind haters that Black people's lives matter too. That's what this was built out of. I am a Black Lives Matter advocate, and I don't belong to any racist organization. All lives matter, but it appears in our society, I'm not talking about just locally, Ipsy, Black people aren't seen as people with lives. So we have to stress that. That is all that is about. And when you talk about our students being affected, I taught in the middle school for 24 and a half years. Our students would be all of us people that are 18 and over like me out there fighting for Black Lives Matter, whether they're white, Black, poor, whatever, because they got a lot more sense in a lot of these issues than we do. Are my 3 minutes up?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Weathers. And next we have Freddie Chi.
How you doing? My name is Freddie Chia. I have 3 kids in the district. I wear masks because I love my special need kids. They're the one in danger. People might not like it. They're still human beings. The most people that would die for this disease is our kids that really have problems, that are going to the doctor still. In the community, a lot of us don't even have insurance. But you can look at it, some of these people that have insurance look at us like, oh, it doesn't matter, I have insurance, that's your problem. My son used to have a seizure every 3-4 times a day. But more people, for me, he's still my son. Every time he had a seizure, I still love him. Wearing masks, not just for me, it's my special need kids. And I put on there my job on my title because I came out here to talk to you about the Olympic, the special need Olympic. For some reason, it went away. Because I don't think a lot of our coaches push that, because for us, we want to win all the time. It's not about winning to me as a coach. It's about having our kids can exercise every day, build a muscle, build a brain, build a self, keep their set up. I was talking to a kid in a wheelchair, and I tried to pick up the kid. He was like, come on, coach, I can do this. You've been teaching me, and slide right into the chair. I cry. And I'm a grown man, I'm almost 50 years old. And just a little girl made me cry. We have to be responsible for each other. I come from a country that lost 2,000 people in Ebola in less than 2 weeks. I lost my mom and 6 sisters. Most people will say, oh, that's bad. No, we learn from our mistake. Our mistake is we don't care about other people. We just care about our own people. You can't care about just everybody in this community. It takes a village to raise a kid. I'm not rich, but I'm a proud dad. My daughter going to Michigan. I went to boarding green. I couldn't afford it, but I wanted to go to college. I was homeless. I lived in the YNC while I go to high school, and I still went to college. When people tell me that you can't go to college because certain things, and I lie, and I laugh at them, because when you want to do something, and nothing can stop you. I wanted a job, Miss McCarty. She been helping me so much. We've been doing it for 2 months. And when I came here today, thanks to the board, the energy you gave me, if I get a job or not, I love you, because what you went through to make me get this job. Anybody that come try to get a job in this district, I know you're gonna make sure they're right. And I want to speak on the Black Left Matter, every left matter. For hundreds of years, we sit back and we don't speak up. When the kids get hit, a man hit a woman, we stay in the communities like it's none of my business. But we are responsible. It's your business to speak up. And the left, and I understand where you're coming from, sir. And I understand where she's coming from. But that's not about, it's about everybody. And if he feel like that and we feel like Black Lives Matter, I think every left matter. But Black Lives Matter because as a young man, and not white, not black or white, any kids, young kids, from the high school, they can walk down the street and the police still mess with them. You don't see that, but I see that every day becoming in the community. And I'm thanking you for just listening to me. But I came down here for my special need kids, so you know I'm still, I'm not gonna let that go. But I'm here for the special need Olympic. This year we have to do something, guys. Come on, I'm depending on you. We're gonna rock it this year. I believe in you. You guys have a blessed day.
Thank you, Mr. Chi. Next, that takes us to the consent agenda. And at this time, is there a motion?
Madam President, I move that the Board of Education approve the February 7, 2022 regular board meeting minutes and personnel matters as per the presented list dated 2/21/22, new hires and resignations.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Gainsleigh. Is there support for this motion?
Support Vice President Lee.
Thank you. Supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, that takes us to action items under number 10, Business and Finance. The acceptance of delegate partner contract for the provision of Head Start services. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I might be looking at a different version of the agenda. I have the Human Resources number 9 next. Okay.
I
know,
think
I'm
I
on
might
board
have a
docs,
page
So that
number.
maybe I'll do
It didn't copy, it looks like. It's not on the page.
Okay, sorry.
But it
I-
skips,
it's
but it
on
skips
board-
from 8 to 10. I think you're right.
It does.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at a complete board packet, please.
Number 9.
Yours is not, yours is incomplete, okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't have 9.
Yeah.
Thank you for catching that. So that takes us to action item number 9 under Human Resources. Is there a motion at this time?
I think if people don't have it, I think a lot of
Do you
people
wanna
don't
read it?
have it.
Okay.
You can read it.
It's the consideration of extension of the superintendent's contract.
Trustee Fields, you don't have it either? You got it?
I can read it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Motion?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
move that the Board of Education accept the extension of their superintendent's contract.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Madam President, trustee Townsend, support.
Supported by trustee Townsend. Is there any discussion?
I know that we'll announce this, but Ms. Kerwin made a couple of references to, I believe what is now public, the glowing report that this district received from Cognia, which is an independent evaluation firm, which, came and evaluated the district and looked at a lot of our processes and systems. And so I just want to really commend the superintendent, because I know that it was really, I know we're going to do a bigger celebration and a bigger announcement about this, but I really want to acknowledge, as we're renewing our superintendent's contract, the incredible work that she and her team that she has put into making that happen, and really making YCS rated among one of the highest schools in Michigan in terms of our internal systems and the systems we've put in place to succeed. So it is with great, great pleasure that I support this extension.
Any other board comments or discussion? I just want to note, just for the benefit of those who are here with us, that this particular extension is germane to what is already in the superintendent's contract, this extension for a year. And I know that all of us would like to say for the next 100 years, because because your work in this district has been stellar. We are better because you are here. And so your leadership, that leadership of your team, the collaboration, the community, everything that has come together under your helm has made YCS a district that other districts are talking about. So I enthusiastically support this, although we're not to that point yet, but I just wanted to say it in advance. So a motion has been made by Trustee Fields, supported by Trustee Townsend, and this is a roll call vote.
Trustee Fields.
Aye.
Trustee Gainsley.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
Vice President Lee.
Aye.
President Hawkins.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, that takes us to our second item under Human Resources, which is the new hire and approval of employment. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Trustee Fields, I move that the Board of Education approve the district's employment request.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Schindler. This is a roll call vote.
Vice President Lee.
Aye.
Trustee Gainsley.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Trustee Fields.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
President Hawkins.
Aye. Motion passes. Congratulations. Now that takes us to action item number 10 under Business and Finance, which is the acceptance of the delegate partner contract for the provision of Head Start services. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education accept as presented the delegate in partner contract for the provision of Head Start services in the amount of $378,265.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there a support for this motion?
Madam President, Trustee Townsend, support.
Supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor? Well, before we do all those in favor, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the acceptance of our house lease. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I move that the Board of Education accept the Our House lease.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Gainsley. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Schindler, I support.
Supported by Trustee Schindler. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the acceptance of the E-rate networking project for 2022, 2023. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Trustee Fields, move that the Board of Education award as presented the conditional purchase agreement with Centennial Technologies Incorporated with a base bid of $230,000 of network equipment contingent upon E-rate funding.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Vice President Lee, support.
Supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, that takes us to the second public comment portion of this evening, and we've already read the board comment protocol from our policy, and we have two public comments this evening. Amanda Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. When I was in my AmeriCorps program, we learned a Zulu proverb called Ubuntu that translates roughly to, I am a person through other people, my humanity is tied to yours. I was sitting at home listening to this meeting, and I was shocked at the comments made by another member of our community, and I was not comfortable letting that stand without saying something, so I'm here. My 7-year-old daughter, who is white and feels very much welcomed in our district, in our community, even with a Black Lives Matter sign in our front yard, begged me to come and say something to tonight. I'm so sorry that someone spoke to you that way. And I wanted to just share with you how much I appreciate everything that all of you have done. And I'm grateful that you've extended the superintendent's contract as well, because she's done so much for this district, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I also want to say I appreciate everything you've done related to masking. I feel safe at our school. My daughter feels safe. She told me that if they remove the mask policy, that she would like to continue to wear one, but is afraid that she'll look funny. I hope that's not a decision she has to make. That's all I have to say. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next, we have Ms. Weathers.
I have to laugh at myself. I want to offer a suggestion. When Mary was doing her presentation, being a former educator, I'm strained, I'm trying to pay attention. We're stakeholders. We can't read a doggone thing that's up there. And I want to offer a suggestion for the next times. I think those two lights, the round ones, if they could be turned off, we could be able to read the screen. Now, if you want us here and you want to pretend like we're a part of the program, let us be a part of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weathers. That concludes our second portion of public comments. Next, that takes us to item number 12, discussion. Are there any subcommittee reports at this time? Yes, trustee Gaisley.
I don't know if this qualifies as a subcommittee, but I did attend my first meeting of the YCS Foundation group and was very pleased to join that group, and it was a great meeting to start with. I felt that one of the exciting pieces of news from the YCS Foundation is that they have an additional $14,000 available in scholarships that they're going to be giving out. The decision was made to give that out, to spread that out over 2 years. And so these are scholarships that had been previously awarded in previous years, but hadn't been accepted, that the student, chose to do something different than they said they would in the scholarship and chose not to accept that scholarship. And so there is additional funding, so they'll give it an additional 7,000 this year, an additional 7,000 next year, on top of the scholarships that they normally give. We had a great presentation from DJ Sharif, who has been working closely with the counseling office in the high school. One of the exciting new scholarships that's going to be offered is I believe called the Resiliency Scholarship, or we had been debating on the name. But Ms. Sharif had noted that there was a barrier. One of the reasons that this scholarship is exciting and different from a lot of other scholarships is that it doesn't have a minimum GPA, but it is specifically for students who have shown a huge amount of resiliency, who have overcome obstacles, and who have been accepted into some sort of post-secondary program. So we're very excited about that scholarship. So I hope that folks apply for that. We also had a great presentation from Dr. Zachary Ross, who was invited to talk about some of the district's priorities. And I'm really pleased that we were able to make that connection between the district and YCSF. So that's my report.
So with the $7,000 scholarship, will it be a lot of different scholarships or just that lump sum?
It's several scholarships. I think there was, don't quote me on this, but there were there are some $2,500 scholarships and some $1,000 scholarships.
Great.
Thank you. Do you know, Trustee Gaisley, how they're going to announce those new scholarship dollars that have become available?
I don't know when that will be announced, and so I'll bring that back to the board after our next meeting.
Thank you so much. Any other subcommittee reports?
The Policy Subcommittee, Madam President, Madam President is on this Policy Subcommittee. The Policy Subcommittee met and talked about, I've had a midwinter break in between when we met, so please help me if I forget. But we talked about a number of different policies related to just a lot of different things. And most of them are going to come before the board. Some of them had to do with the structure of meetings, how we are going to manage, some of the structure of the meetings. Some of them are just, nuts and bolts kind of things. But I would expect those are coming before the board in the next, I don't know, short while, as we consider how to continue to meet the needs of the district through effective and efficient board meetings.
Thank you, Trustee Schindler. Yes, we have a lot to bring to the board in terms of what we've already reviewed, but they're all good updates and will help to strengthen our policies within the district. Any other subcommittee reports?
Realizing that the Operations and Finance Subcommittee also met, which I'm forgetting that we had a meeting. So as that was a little longer ago, the Operations and Finance did have a joint meeting that was convened between Washtenaw County and Superior Township. And the committee members joined that. We did discuss some potential interest in the Cheney School property, some opportunities that might be available there. And so the district, I think, is very open to those discussions and interested in seeing where that goes. And if anything becomes more concrete than that, we'll certainly bring it to the full board.
Thank you so much, Trustee Gaisley. Any other subcommittee reports? Okay, seeing none, that takes us to board superintendent comments. Any comments from the board at this time?
Madam President, I have a couple of comments. One, I just want to, again, thank the superintendent and her team. Ms. Taryn Willis, who has done a lot of the programming and events. We had an outstanding Black History Month. We started off with Just a Kid from IPSI, and then we also had the Divine Nine and other African-American organizations scholarship event. And those scholarships, many of them are open to everybody in the community, regardless of race or anything like that. But we have over $250,000 of money that is out there. And the goal is to push that for YCS students to get access to those dollars. and the foundation was part of that as well. And then in March, we will be hosting a realtors event at 9 a.m. It will be a virtual event on March 18th via Zoom, and I believe it may be on Facebook Live. This event will have a lot of our resources in here for people who are interested in learning more about YCS, as well as the different services for first-time home buyers, Habitat for Humanity, Old National Bank. We will have Ann Arbor Housing Commission, Ann Arbor Housing Commission on there, as well as Bad Credit is Childish, and some other resources. So I encourage the community to check that out, to please subscribe to YCS on YouTube, Facebook, like, share, send a smoke signal, whatever it is, Facebook, Instagram, and on our website for information. But we're doing some powerful things for the district to change the narrative and also to make sure that everyone has access to resources in order to build the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend. And I will just add to that and say that Trustee Townsend did not say this about herself, and I could see why she would not. But she did an amazing job facilitating the
Thank you.
session on scholarships.
Thank you, Member.
It was a wealth of information. It is good to know that we live in a community where there is so much support for our students, particularly our seniors who are graduating and need access to scholarship dollars. So I just wanted to say it was a well-attended event. It was a great event for our young people to know that there is money available. And if we can do everything we can to get the word out, to share with our seniors that there is funding available for them to support them on their college journey, I think that would be outstanding. So I just wanted to say kudos to our trustee who
Thank you, Madam
facilitated that
President.
entire session and did an amazing job. With the help of Taryn, of course. Yeah, I was just gonna mention too, and then I'll let you go ahead, Vice President Lee, that just a reminder that tomorrow kicks off March's Reading Month. And I know that many of us have been contacted by schools to be able to go in to read, and some, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's a recording, but there are opportunities, and I know Dr. Zachary Ross will talk about this as well when she has her comments, but just a reminder that March is Reading Month, and it'll give us an opportunity to get into school buildings, to read to our young people, and to support them throughout Literacy Month. Vice President Lee?
Yes, I know you did mention it at the last meeting that I did not attend, and thank you very much for mentioning it for me about the Summer Works program with the Washington County Youth Employment Program. And I just wanted to mention it again. It's for the ages of 16 to 24. And the due date is March 13th.
Oh, that's coming up.
Which is coming up. So please, teenagers and young adults, please get your applications in. I know you have put it on the website, not you, Dr. Zachary Ross, but I do believe Ms. Willis did, Taryn Willis did, put it on the website. So it is on the YCS website, all the information where you can go and click on the link and fill out that application. So please do so. I know it's a good program. And I know I got my grandson into it because he's gonna work. He's 16 now, he's gonna work. So yes, please do that. And I just wanted to say that. So just remind you guys, just get that done because the 13th is coming up fast.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Thank you, Vice President Lee, and I would concur with you that it is, get the word out. It's a great program. There are many internship opportunities. There's mentoring, professional development, resume writing, skill building for young people. So share the word that this program is available. The ages are 16 to 24, correct? Okay. And March 13th is the deadline, so please share widely. Any other board comments? Yes, trustee
this-
Fields.
I don't know if it's in a comment, but just wanted to find out from my information, I heard about a program that YCS was doing with driver's ed with Washington Sheriff's Department, and I just wanted to find out. I didn't hear about it. I don't know, you might have talked about it at some point, but is it possible to get some kind of, because I thought it was a very interesting program, but I don't know how widely it was talked about, or anything like that, so.
Through the high school,
Mhm.
we were able to receive scholarships for ABC driving school here. And so the high school determined who would get the scholarships so that we can encourage those students to go get their driver's license and remove barriers. So
Mhm.
we've been asking, as Trustee Gainsley said, when people come and ask us about what ways they could support, this is one way. We want to make sure that our students are able to have their independence, they're able to do beyond even the high school diploma, but to have that independence. And that's one of the things we've asked for support that has come from the high school staff.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, because it was, and I didn't know about it, but I'm like, well, I need to find out more information, because I don't know where it was advertised for that, but I think that's a great program to have for those students, because that is a barrier for a lot of them to be able to afford driver's ed, because it's not offered in schools like it was, but just having that opportunity, so.
Thank you,
Mm.
trustee Fields, and I agree 100%.
Mhm.
Driver's education is expensive.
Mhm.
Driver's education is expensive.
Mhm, mhm.
So the fact that we have support and our
Mm.
superintendent is saying that ways you can support is to support this program in particular,
Mhm.
removes a huge barrier for young people.
Yes.
When I was in high school, not too long ago.
Right.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
It was free. It
Mhm.
was part of the curriculum,
Right,
it's part
it
of the
was.
education, and times have changed. So
Right.
I am just glad that
Mm.
we have this resource and this support for our
Yes.
young people, because
Yes.
it does help
Yes.
a great deal. So thank you, trustee Fields. Any other board comments? Superintendent, Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you so much, President Hawkins. I want to just continue to reiterate the wonderful programs that happened last month, and it all happened, and we talked about it today, because of community. I want to just thank those who are on the panel. I saw some people here today who are on the panel for You Don't Know My Story, the boys group and the girls group here that was led by Ms. Teresa Allen. When we talked about pretty much the vision, the profile of the graduate, we talk about identity quite a bit and the genius of our students. And we want to go beyond that high school diploma to saying you can be and do whatever you have would like to do, because you have this genius and talent inside of you. And part of that is that mirrors and windows, and that's what you did. So thank you, Trustee Townsend, for being a part of Just a Kid from IPSI. Also, You Don't Know My Story, where they heard from panelists. The boys group had one day, the girls group had another day. She brought in a person from, I believe, the Vikings for them to see and to meet and hear about, and other professions. So those persons from the community who participated, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You provided the mirror and the window to what they could be. We also want to congratulate all of those high school students. We talk about talent and genius. Our students from the Black Heritage Collage concert. There is a video that we are putting up on the website for those who could not see it, but our students, they performed amazingly well. There's so much talent here. And so we're going to put that up, and thank you to Miss Crystal Harding for the work that she did pulling them all together. We also know that Chef Gardner was here just last month talking about our students being involved in the programs. And I just want to say that right now we have some students in Lansing participating in the Michigan Restaurant Association Pro Start Culinary Competition. And it's today and tomorrow, and board, thank you for supporting them going to compete. They've been really doing a tremendous job in doing the work and sharing their culinary skills. And beyond that, it just gives them those speaking skills. It gives them the ability to know what's happening in the world. We understand also that they participated just what was that, last week? I'm trying to pull it up for Nassau. They created a Nassau meal and it had all kinds of requirements. They provided our students, and it was the RCTC Nassau team. And so they had to do a mission liftoff to the International Space Station. And they had to design a menu following the strict Nassau nutrition standards. Our students created Caribbean jerk chicken tamales with pineapple salsa and roasted vegetables, sweet potato bread pudding with pecan, almond, praline sauce. And then they had to break down the nutritional value and ensure that it met the strict Nassau value. And so when we think about the potential and what our students are doing and learning here, it's just exceptional. And so I just thank them. We have the opportunity this month as we come into Women's History Month, March's Reading Month, to participate. So thank you for volunteering. If you have not received that follow-up email, please contact Julie, because there are many opportunities to read in the community. And just like Madam President said, we don't talk about it often. I'll invite you this Saturday is the Washtenaw Democratic Women's Program, I Am Every Woman. I'm one of the speakers along with Gretchen Whitmer and Debbie Dingo, Congresswoman Dingo. And so if you are coming, YCS will be representing. I'm also the keynote speaker for Washtenaw Community College's Women's History Month program this month. So Ypsilanti Community Schools will be representing strongly this month in March, just like we represented strongly last month. And finally, I just want to let the community know that our Grizzly Learning Camp, the plans continue to go on. You heard me talk about last month that we were recognized at the Michigan Association of Superintendents or Associations Conference. This month, we just received from AASA, that is the National Superintendents Organization, along with the Mott Foundation. They began a new project focused on the power of partnerships, highlighting places with strong school district, after school and summer partnerships to promote student well-being, recovery, and acceleration. They are bringing together one district from each of the 8 states identified, and that is Colorado, Florida, Missouri, Michigan, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Texas. Ypsilanti has been identified by AASA and the partners from the Michigan After School Network as the representative of Michigan. So we are proud to represent not only this state, but being only one of 8 in the nation to go to AASA to represent the work that we're doing after school and with our summer programs. I know we separate Bible from school, yet they talk about we can't be a prophet in our own land. And oftentimes right here in Ypsilanti, people talk about Ypsilanti Community Schools and about what we don't have from a deficit mindset. Yet it takes the nation to say what we're doing. It takes others outside of Michigan to talk about what we're doing in our own backyard. And it is up to us to talk about what Ypsilanti Community Schools are doing and stop trying to compare us to our surrounding districts, but recognize, as Trustee Gainsley talked about, our amazing staff and what they continue to do day in and day out on behalf of our students, our amazing partners and what they continue to do day in and day out, our amazing students who we all work and support, and how they show up and demonstrate that they represent at a national platform, not just in culinary, not just in the sciences, but across the board. And so I'm appreciative of the fact that the narrative about Ypsilanti Community Schools continues to shift. And instead of people coming and say, what can we do for you, is how can you be a model? Can you explain what you're doing for others? And I'm appreciative that we're getting to the table now.
Amen.
And thank you lastly for extending my contract.
Of course. Thank you, Dr. Zachary Ross. Are there any other board comments before we adjourn this evening?
Hard to follow that.
Huh?
Hard to follow that one.
I know, that was a mic drop moment.
Right.
The 13th of this month? Nothing. At night?
Is it 13?
NAPIT is happening still, and it is at 5 PM. Thank you, because we were asking for clarification, so we have enough time. We'll show it here in the room before the board meeting.
Okay.
It is recorded.
Okay.
Are we still having Dr. Carter come during the?
She's not able to come at that meeting.
Okay, she did not get, we didn't get that confirmed, but we'll keep reaching out and seeing what dates might work so that we can get something on our calendar to bring her back. Okay. And we'll let the board know. Okay, any other comments? It is 8:41 and this regular Board of Education meeting is adjourned.